Good morning, the honorable judges, and good morning, everyone. My name is Violney Naifah, shortly Lucre. Well, today I'd like to debate, and the motion is: in post-conflict states, this House believes that history textbooks should focus on teaching bottom-up historiography rather than top-down historiography. And I'm standing on the opposition team. So here's my argument. Somehow, if we studied from the government or the great man's side, we'll have the wider knowledge. Because these great men or women have more knowledge about the world, how the war strategy, how to make the politic works, how the economic, etc. Instead, the people that actually not have the knowledge might gives us the wrong information. Especially in the past, there are so much people that cannot go to school. So that's why they're not smart enough to have the knowledge about the world. And then second, the top-down method gives the clear logical ways like A policy, make events B. So this can help the student understand how institutions and laws works. The student might know how the farmer felt back on 1945, but they failed to understand how the diplomatic system or how the military strategy wins the independence. We all need the people who actually understand how this nation works, not only the group of individuals that nostalgic for the past. Now, I'm gonna talk about the government arguments. The government side said that historiography top-down method doesn't have the interconnected feeling. They said that telling history from the elites will not make the people feel proud because the different social class. Well, I'd like to do rebuttal. The elites community often be the symbol of unifying that always surpass every bulkhead of class. Great figure like Sukarno or even Nelson Mandela always gives a strong national identity and becoming the inspiration for all of the layers of society, not only a reminder of class differences. The government side also said that the bottom-up historiography is more likely to be systematic and scientific. Well, I disagree. Because narratives that are too fragmented into small units often fail to give a bigger picture. History that is overly technical and sociological can actually be boring and difficult to understand, compared to an emotionally evocative heroic narrative. And then, the government side argued that the top-down method is simplifying history and only glorifying individuals, so that political discussions are reduced. I can't agree. To be focusing on the leader does not mean we ignore the people, but we recognize the role of strategic decision-making in history. Without any clear leadership structure in the textbooks, history will look like a messy series of events, which complicate the knowledge of how a nation is created politically. The government side said that the elite narration make a biased point of view, but top-down history is often based on official documents, policies, and diplomacy that have strong physical evidence. On the other hand, bottom-up narratives or oral histories are often highly subjective, inconsistent, and difficult to verify, because they rely on fragmentary individual memories. They also said that include the history of ordinary people like the inventory soldiers and ancestors. And textbooks provides moral validation and a sense of pride for the people, which then prevent future conflicts. And my point is, focusing on the collective suffering or the small group struggles can actually open up the old ones, which is a privacy, and some people do not want their privacy to be open into the public. If every group of people demands validation of its ancestors struggling in the textbook, this can lead us into the civil war instead of unifying in a solid way. Last, they said, when the governments appreciated the suffering from the people might have more trust in the government, which will facilitate the process of national development. The validation in the textbook often purely symbolic. The government could use the little people narrative to manipulate public opinion to appear to be for the people, even though the policies are not in their favor. The people's trust should be built from the real economic policy or political policy, not only historical memories. So, instead of making confusion with thousands of subjective narratives, in the opposition, continue to believe that history textbooks should remain a clear, objective national compass oriented toward unity through strong leadership. Therefore, this motion should be rejected. Thank you.